3, 2, 1, let's go.
North London derby this Sunday.
I'm nervous, I can't lie.
It's that time of the season.
Hey, that's outrageous.
He's got nothing.
What?
He's average.
You splitting hairs. We're splitting literally something I don't have.
Rice is nice.
No, that's
That's
the
it.
name
You're going with.
The Arsenal don't want to be playing us now.
Stratosphere.
I wasn't prepared to allow it.
Listen, man. It's a massive, massive game. And inshallah, should we say.
You wait until Sunday.
Saka, we coming.
Yeah? Really?
It's war. We're ready. The battle's here.
The heat is coming.
There's been a lot of talking in the build-up to this game, and in about 3 hours' time, we will know which fan base was right to be confident. That was a super fan debate. Go check out all the content if you missed it. But while you're with us, it's time for the starting 11 show. Big round of applause. It's the North London derby. Arsenal versus Tottenham. What's wrong with you? Got a big smile.
Listen, I don't like these games. They're always a little bit nervous for them, like, you know, especially when the expectation is that you've got to win it. And I think like over the last few years, there's been a bit more like even, but over the last year, we took over again, and with that comes the pressure. And you know, for us today, it's a must-win game. And for them, I think if they was to get a draw, they'd be quite happy with that. Obviously, a win, they'd be delighted for it, like, you know. But for us, it's win. A draw's not good enough today. We need to win this game. So there's that little bit of nerves in it, like, you know. And like every season, twice a year they become a little bit chirpy against us. We need to just like slap them back down, like put them back into that rock that they've crawled out of.
Well, let's hope Arsenal do the job. We'll welcome our first panelist, lead judges. Are you going to chat for him? No?
Thank you guys. Thank you guys.
We have Robbie Lyle, of course, Don Robbie, and we have Julian back as well. Robbie, do you share the thoughts of Lee there? Do you share that kind of tension? Are these games you love or hate? You know, do you?
Yeah, no.
Or do you not know till after?
No, listen, it's very tense. You know what I mean? Like right now, I don't feel fully nervous yet, but I know once I get to the stadium, just before the game, that's when the nerves will start to kick in for me. And like Lee said, it's one of those games, there's so much on it, you know what I mean? You don't want to lose to them because you never hear the end of it, you know? So, but I'm quietly confident that we're going to do all right today.
Yep.
I almost feel that Spurs are underestimating us a bit.
Are we underestimating them?
I don't think we're underestimating them because I think, you know, every Arsenal fan and every Arsenal player has seen that they've started the season well, that they've been playing well, that they've been playing a different brand of football under their new manager. You can't miss it there because that's all. Every time you turn on anything to do with football, that's what everyone keeps going on about, this Ange ball and stuff. So there's no way Arsenal are going to underestimate Tottenham. Everybody's known and been listening to what's been going on there, and we've seen their results and stuff like that. But I feel that they're underestimating us. I look at the comment from Son where he said, oh, they won't want to play us right now. I look at the fact that, you know, even I was just talking to my neighbour, he's a Tottenham fan, and he's telling me about their great start to the season. And when I said to him, I go, well, actually, our record start the season's identical to yours. We haven't lost yet either. You know what I mean? We played Man City in the Community Shield, we didn't lose. We played United, who you played, we beat them, right? You know what I mean? I'm like, we ain't lost either. And I was actually saying to him, actually as well, despite our sort of slowish start to the season, right? The last two games we've played, we scored, you know, last two games at home at the Emirates, scored 7 goals.
True.
So I feel they're underestimating us a bit. You know what I mean? We got reasons to be optimistic in this game. You look at the front three, you know, Saka scoring goals and assisting, so is Trossard, so is Jesus, just behind them, Odegaard scoring goals. You know, it's been solid with Declan Rice there. Since Gabriel's come back in at the back, right? That's been solid. I'm confident.
Yeah.
And they're going to come to our play. You already hear the atmosphere. Even here, whilst we're here at the moment, we can hear fans, you know, singing and stuff like that. It's buzzing.
That's what I wanted to ask you about,
game.
Julian. You were sitting here saying, is that the fans we can hear? And it is. I mean, if everyone doesn't know, you know, we're not that far from the Emirates Stadium, and there is just noise surrounding even us. We're probably about a 10-minute walk, and the fans are really up for this. We had the PSV game the night, the return to Champions League. We saw Livs enjoying it, for example. Everyone's had a really good time with it, and that's great. We need that to carry on into the North London derby tickets. I think the players are going to need the Emirates crowd. A lot of new Tottenham players in this team. They're going to need the Emirates crowd to do their bit and make it hostile.
And they will.
Yeah, it will be hostile, but I mean, I get nervous before any Tottenham and Arsenal-Tottenham game. I'm always nervous, but there's a difference between us playing Tottenham and us playing PSV. You can say that PSV was a really important game. It was our first game back in the Champions League. We needed to get a good start. We did get a good start. But there's a difference when we play Tottenham. It's not just about the winning. It's about not losing. And I know Lee said it's a must-win game. For me, to come into this game from an emotional perspective, it's about not losing. I'm nervous. I'm really nervous. Because
you're always really nervous.
I'm really nervous, and there's a couple of reasons why I'm really nervous about this particular game. The first one, and I'll compare it again with PSV. If we'd lost to PSV, I wasn't going to kind of turn my phone on and have, being bombarded by PSV fans with texts and phone calls, and then walk out my front door and seeing PSV fans. If Arsenal lose to Spurs, that's exactly what's coming, and I don't want that. The second thing is that you can get used to a certain feeling, and that feeling for Arsenal is winning. Is for the last 30 years we've lost to them once, which is absolutely brilliant. But if we do lose, and I remember back in 2010, the depth of despair that I had
was that
from one game. That was 2-0 up.
That was painful.
And Kabul at the end. And I actually hid behind the guy. I remember sort of ducking behind the guy that sits next to me. I couldn't watch. I just had my head in my hands. It was almost like life had come to an end. And the reason for that is because I wasn't used to it. Whereas Spurs fans, they're used to coming here and getting beaten. So they can be all cocky, enjoy the moment. But ultimately, they know what's coming.
Well, they think, or they hope not. But I kind of touched on that in see the North London derby in January. I think what really kind of sparked the pressure was the title race and the fact that we were well in that and everything. But when we go away from home, because our record's so bad there's something of a hope as much as expectation. But here, there is that pressure that we don't lose at the Emirates against Tottenham. We beat them more often than not, and that, for me, that does add a layer of pressure. Now, for the Arsenal players, that might add a level of excitement. We're playing in front of our crowd. We should be confident. We believe we're better than them, and they go play their football. For me, and this is why I would never make it at the top level. There's a pressure and anxiety around that.
There's a pressure and anxiety because it's Tottenham, no one else. You know what I mean? If it was any other game, you wouldn't be like.
You'd want it, yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Like if we was playing, I'll tell you what, we was playing Man United 2 weeks ago, whenever it was. I was never as nervous as I am now because it's the implications of what happens afterwards. I want to beat Man United. At the end of it, we were a better team than Man United, and it proved to be. But there is that more on it. Like, I've got family that are Spurs. You know what I mean? Like, I've got my mates. A couple of my mates text me, "How are you feeling about the game?" Like, they're on the wind up already. Like, like a clock, aren't they? You know what I mean? Like, so that's how it is, and it's always that thing between Arsenal and Spurs. If it wasn't, this is a game that you'd be expecting Arsenal to win and win comfortably, but because it's Spurs and because what goes with it, it's a different game, like, you know what I mean? And I never get nervous about these games, like games like semi-finals, finals, playing Man United, playing Man City and all that. Last season when we were going for the title, when Man City were coming down here last season in the home game, I wasn't like I feel today, because it's this lot, isn't it?
It's a sickening feeling, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a horrible feeling, like, and I don't care what anybody says. If I'm feeling like that with the record that they've got, they must be feeling a lot worse.
They've got nothing to lose.
That's what I think. I think they've got more of a nothing to lose. Let's go.
It might get down to that, but it's still not very nice feeling losing to Spurs. Even when we was at our invincible best, when we was winning titles and all that, when we went to White Hart Lane, we didn't win that many times there. It was always a draw, you know what I mean? But they think that they come over here today like, they've had 5 wins, or 4 wins and a draw, and they think that they're coming over and winning. We've won titles, cups and things like that, and I never go to there thinking that we're going to win, and that's the arrogance of them.
But you know what, I'd say this, right? Last year, when we went to their stadium, it was the first time in years I felt confident we were going to win. I said it before. I even predicted 2-0. I was like, I go, we're better than them.
You feel confident today?
And I feel confident today.
I hope you're right.
I feel with Tottenham, right, that they haven't been tested really yet. They haven't had a big test. Even their biggest test they had against United was at home.
Yeah.
Right, and even in that, if you remember the first half, I mean, if United had been a bit more clinical, they could have been a couple of goals up. I feel that I don't think it's a game where it's like they got nothing to lose. I feel that they're under a lot of pressure because a lot of people are talking up Tottenham and saying that, Ange Postecoglou, what he's done, different style of football, they're going to really have a great season, right? And we still know it's very early in the season. I feel this is a big test. This is, if they were to say come to the Emirates today and get turned over and say they got turned over badly, all of a sudden the doubts start to come back in and stuff like that with their side. So I feel this is not, I don't feel this is like a game where it's a nothing to lose game for them. You speak to most Tottenham fans, they went from last week saying they're going to win to now saying it's going to be a draw, right? A lot of them, or they'll take a draw, So, and I take Lee's point in that, these games are always, it doesn't matter, form, that phrase of form goes out the window is very true. But form has sort of gone in the ways of these games over the last few years, especially, the home team normally wins the game.
Yeah. The one thing I will say about that is that over the last few years, I think that Arsenal and Spurs, maybe even Spurs, have been the better team. So if they were bringing their A game to us and we was, that they would be slight favourites. No, but not over the last period of, like say, 10 years.
Over the last 5 seasons.
But in that 10-year period, when they have been the better side, they've still not come here and won. You know what I mean? So now that it's turns a little bit, and I think like if Arsenal come with their A game today, Tottenham come with their A game today, we win.
I hope you're right.
And that's the nicest thing. That's a comfort blanket for me.
You've only got to look at each player. Each player for Arsenal, I would pick over each player for Tottenham in every position. Well,
we're going to explore that in a sec, actually. Just quickly, we've got a super chat from Ibby. Says, that horrible feeling in my gut every single North London derby, I hate it. I'd happily be knocked out and wake up on Monday just to be told we won 1-0. Come on, you Gunners. Jatender says, no matter who starts today, I believe we are going to smash them. And it's the game we need to tell the rest of the teams in the Premier League, especially City, that we are more ruthless. Interestingly enough, City won't have Rodri, as we can see on our screens, because of the red card he picked up against Nottingham Forest when they come to the Emirates in a few weeks. Craig says, as a United fan, I'm actually looking forward to 2 good footballing sides battling it out. Raya will be the new number 1. And that leads nicely into the 2,500 votes we've got on this poll. Who starts as the goalkeeper today? Before I tell you the results, who would you go with in goal?
Raya.
And it's 72% Raya to 28% for Ramsdale. So that's it. Is that based on the fact that he's played the last 2 games?
Yeah,
going with
just based on that. Yeah. Not on form, not on whatever. He's played in the last 2 games. There's got to be a reason for it.
Well, I was just told that apparently, I haven't actually watched the Arteta press conference, when asked about Ramsdale being dropped, he didn't say anything about him not being dropped. He more went down the route of, he's got a fantastic mentality, blah, blah. So are we just going to have to...
he has been dropped. If you're on the bench, you've been dropped.
You've been dropped. If it had played... Is
that true? Can you not be rotated?
No, you can be rotated if you're left out of the Everton game and then you come back for the Champions League game. You know what I mean? That's not the case now. You know what I mean?
Listen, right?
Dropped.
If Ramsdale plays, no issues for me. Mm-hmm. But Raya right now, he's just kept 2 clean sheets. And the last 2 games we've played in, we've won. And he's been very calm at the back. I know he hasn't really been tested.
That's the thing. We haven't seen him as a shot stopper. I think Spurs will ask us more.
And questions will be asked. You'll be asked questions today, but you can't drop someone who's just kept 2 clean sheets, can you?
You couldn't drop Ramsdale, really, but he did.
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying he's come in. He's kept 2 clean sheets. I don't think you can drop him.
No, I don't think you can. No. And also, I don't know, I might have to go to the toilet before if Ramsdale's in, because I've been really worried about him coming back in I think he'd be
he's under too much pressure.
No, a little bit.
He can handle it. Yeah,
but that's one thing. Maybe a little bit more pressure than what should be on him. I don't know. I just think
he's never let us down.
He's never let us down, but he's made his choice now. As far as I'm concerned, Arteta's made his choice.
Well, you know, he may rotate them. He may rotate them back again in the future. Maybe after the next international break, you see Ramsdale come back in. You could see Ramsdale maybe play on Wednesday, have a good game, and he's back in for the Bournemouth one. Who knows? But I feel for this game, I would play Raya. I really would. And, you know, I'm just like, stick with what's got us some great results over the past 2 games.
Fair enough.
You could even bring Ramsdale back after an hour, substitute.
Alex Smith says, greetings folks, a must-win game for us as I don't want to be at work and put up with Spurs fans at work. 2-0 we need. My brother's actually at work and he's going to sort of somehow sneak watching the game, can't blame him. Josh Kroenke's at the game apparently, someone's picked up a photo of him heading into the Emirates.
Does he come on bus? Yeah. What? He come on the bus?
What, with the team?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, maybe, I don't know.
How's he got a photo of him then?
Don't know. Josh Kroenke at the game, apparently. You know, that's the entrance they arrive under, no?
Yeah,
looks like it. Let's see. Let's talk about the team news then. Is there anything, actually before we talk, speaking of team news, let's show our combined 11 from the Super Fan debate. That Robbie and Gunalee's in the building as well. They fought tooth and nail for their best.
I knew he wouldn't let me down, Gunalee. I knew he wouldn't.
No, he did let us down.
He come with his A game.
He let us down, man.
Got it up here. So the positions we couldn't agree on, believe it or not, were Ramsdale and Vicario, even though we're all saying Raya's going to start.
What?
Romero and Gabriel, and then there was a battle for Rice and Basuma.
No, where Gunalee let us down, right, is that he went with the Doji.
I never talking to him again.
I thought that was.
I never talking to him again.
I honestly thought that was outrageous.
Tottenham Lee, I'm going to call him from now on.
The Zinchenko, who, by the way, I was name drop. I was chatting to him on Friday, and I think he'll be playing, and he's confident that he's going to, you know, he's looking forward to the game. But yeah, I mean, Zinchenko should have been in that. Zinchenko, obviously.
He's had 5 games, this kid.
Yeah.
Playing. He's 5 games he's had playing, and in those 5 games, you're telling me you've allowed that when you've played Burnley, Sheffield United,
Gunalee's.
Tottenham League. What are you on about here? They've not played anybody decent yet, and they've got him in front of someone that's played like
Zinchenko.
and won title.
So who else did they have on there on the left? They had Maddison
in place of Havertz, I suppose.
That one I agreed on.
I'll go along.
So I had that.
The only Arsenal
it's
player I think...
not very balanced like that, having Maddison there. You wouldn't have Maddison in that team because he's too much like Odegaard, so you'd...
I think you could make it work. You could do Maddison, Odegaard, but everyone's telling us, Tottenham fans are like convinced. This isn't like, oh, we rate Basuma. They are telling us Basuma has been phenomenal this year. So, I'm interested to see...
5 games. Yeah, whereas Rice has done it.
We knew after 5 games last year that Jesus and Zinchenko were mustard.
Yeah, but we've seen Rice playing for West Ham for the last few seasons. He's done it in the Premier League at a far higher level than Basuma. And Basuma, what did he do last season? He's had 5 good games, and that's it. You can't even compare the two at the moment. At the end of the season, let's have that debate. Not at the moment.
I was saying pre-filming that. I keep a lot of this stuff internal till after the game because we go through that 90 minutes. Adogi has a masterclass against Saka. Basuma's run the midfield. Son's back on fire. Then you start to rethink.
They wanted Son out this time last year.
I agree.
This is what you're dealing with Spurs fans.
But,
he's finished. Get rid of him.
We see what happens after the 90. And maybe we learn a thing or two, or maybe it's everything.
Even if Adogi had a good game today, he's not better than Zinchenko.
No. So how do you let that go in? How do you let that go in?
I didn't let it go.
Yeah, but you were there.
How do you let that go?
No, because the 2 Spurs fans voted for Adogi, and so did Gunalee.
Do you know what the argument
was? It was only me on my own, so I was outvoted 3-1.
You know what the argument for Adogi was? He's more complete apparently. He's better defensively than Zinchenko. They're saying if you're taking everything you need as a fullback, he does that better than Zinni. But
Zinchenko all day.
Zinni for me, but like I said, we'll learn today, and I hope I learn.
He's at the back there, Lee.
I didn't already
afterwards,
know.
I'd have Nigel Winterburn now in place of him. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
he's at the back. Gunalee at the back later on. You know what I mean? Even though he's a big geezer, you know what I mean?
I'm taking him out. Don't worry about that. I'm having it with him, like, because he, you know what I mean? I ain't scared of him no more.
Right, let's run you through some stats. Bukayo Saka has been involved in 18 goals in his last 18 Premier League home appearances for Arsenal. 12 goals, 6 assists. He's been on fire. Talk about being consistent, eh?
And there's people saying, even with him, he ain't been firing. Yeah, I mean, up until the last couple of games.
But that's what
always contributes to games. And again today, I'm going to be really interested to see with Tottenham how they deal with Saka. The other night, PSV left him one-on-one. He tore them to shreds. You know what I mean? It's going to be interesting.
So I've just found out that we're giving Goulally a chance at a right of reply. So we're heading over to Goulally on the information station. Lee, explain yourself.
Listen, man. Listen, I'm sorry. It was a long day. I was tired. But I will be honest, though. I think Udogie, look, we can't just go off. We were talking about this season, right? We were talking about this season. If we were talking about this season, I thought Zinchenko, we know what he is. We know what he's provided for us last season. But I think Udogie, going back, defensively and going forward, he does offer a lot. And I think the thing what I liked about him is he offers that counter-attacking, that counter-attack from his, defensive abilities, winning the ball high up, and then obviously Spurs are kind of going on the transition. But listen, it's potato. I wouldn't have obviously put any of the players from Spurs ultimately, but if we were doing a combined 11, and I thought it would be fair to have one or two players.
Get him off.
I didn't want Maddison there. I didn't want Maddison in there.
We don't want to be
I didn't want Maddison in there though. That is one thing for sure. I didn't want Maddison in there at all. I wanted
Maddison in.
I would put
Maddison walks into it.
Madison's in it, right?
Yeah.
Madison, to me, that's a fair one. Madison's in it, right? Because what you go, Maddison or Havertz, or Maddison or Fabio Vieira, Maddison is in it. We've got to be real about that, right? But the Udogie one ahead of Zinchenko, no chance. That's what I'm saying to them. Romero, that's what I'm saying as well. Romero is not ahead of
Udogie's been sent off every other game.
Son gets in the sit because Martinelli's injured.
No, he don't. Ahead of Trossard right now.
Yeah.
How Trossard's been playing.
Well,
but to me,
Son's
anyway,
good, though.
I said Martinelli.
I wouldn't have put Maddison in there, and I definitely wouldn't have put Son in there. If we're going off this season, I think that those two players, they don't deserve to be in the team. I think Odegaard, and similar to what Adrian said, I think Odegaard, he does more than enough than what the likes of Maddison can do. I think he can do double, triple what he does. So I didn't see any point of having him in there. And I thought Basuma, again, he's been really good. Like, you have to chalk it up. I think he's been good, and I think box to box, I thought you could have put the Declan Rice in there. So I think the balance of the squad or the team would have been a lot better with those two. But yeah,
that's a good point.
I think I'm not going to sit here and say that he's been rubbish.
But Tottenham have been good. We're 8 minutes from finding out the 11. This is the first league meeting between Arsenal and Tottenham, with both sides still unbeaten for the first time since September 1990. The pair actually drew 0-0 at Highbury.
That was on 30th of August, I think.
Well, it wasn't.
I remember that game. I saw a couple of Spurs players in Eros in Enfield after the game, and they showed very little class.
Fair enough. Well, Opta, Julian's calling you out, saying his stats are on.
So Ian Wright had a good couple of chances that day as well.
He hit the post 4 times.
Was it 4 times?
Yeah.
Wow. Well, we need luck on our side. So go on, let's start building our 11s then, Lee. What do you want to see today from Arsenal?
I want to see the same team as Wednesday, but Vieira in for Havertz. That would be my team.
Robbie?
I'm with Lee. You know what I mean? Same team. That's the team that played against Everton as well. Fabio Vieira in from the start for me, and then that front three, Jesus starts for me. Jesus has to start up front. He's been on fire the last few games. He'll cause a lot of problems to their defence. Saka, Trossard. Martinelli's out, isn't he? So Trossard, 2 games, 2 goals, and an assist. Was it 2 assists in those games as well? He's got to start. And the back 4 and the midfield.
There's a lot of rumours that Trossard's. There's a lot of rumours that Trossard's out.
Yeah, there's a lot of rumours.
He's injured.
I heard that people were saying he didn't train yesterday and stuff like that, and that'd be a big blow if he's out. That'd be a big blow if Trossard's out.
He definitely trained Friday. He definitely trained Friday, but whether he trained.
If he's out, it's a big blow. Maybe then you go Eddie down the middle, and you move Jesus out onto the left.
I'll go Nelson.
Yeah, I'd go Nelson.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I always fancy
much game. He's had really no game time.
Do you know what it is, right? I always fancy like Reece Nelson as an impact player. That a guy can come
off the bench.
A guy comes off the bench later on and really makes a big impact. I'd go Eddie starting then.
What, on the left?
And then down the middle, and then Jesus on the left. That's what I'd go.
Timbala says, I'm always laughing when these Tottenham fans say all their players are better than Arsenal's, or when they predict the game, they hope for a draw. That's what I was asking. I did ask Fuad and Dean on the show. I was saying, but if all these players are so good and better than ours, by the time we got to the midfield, I think they had more Tottenham players than Arsenal. Why are you not expecting to win this game? Because ultimately, when it comes down to it, it's the two teams on the pitch, right? It's the 11v11, and if theirs is better, they should have a good chance of winning it.
They know they ain't got a better team than us. They've got a better side. They're playing better football, 100%. They've started the season well, cannot be ignored, definitely playing better, but they know they haven't got a better side than us.
I'll tell you what he could do today, just thinking about it, if Trossard's out, Vieira will go to the left.
And you keep Havertz in?
The middle.
We've got a super chat from Mohammed, says a big Liverpool fan. Love AFTV, 2-1 to the Arsenal today. He says Ramsdale disrespected massively. He played a big role in getting Arsenal to the Champions League, only to be dropped by an arrogant Mikel Arteta. So that's the thoughts of a Liverpool fan.
It's a professional game. That's the thing. It's not about.
I was at a charity football day yesterday, and we was a lot of Spurs fans, and they don't like Arteta because they think he is arrogant. There's a lot of arrogance about him.
I do
because
think
he's a winner, and they're jealous of him.
I think we love him because he sticks up for us, right? He fights for us. But I can understand why.
Exactly what I said. If he wasn't our manager, you'd probably feel a little bit like.
You need that, though. You need that.
Yeah, I like it.
Did we like Ferguson? Did we like Mourinho?
Yeah.
Do I like Klopp?
Yeah, they're all arrogant.
So I take it as
that's part of it. That's part of it. You've got to have that arrogance.
On the flip side, we all like Ange Postecoglou. He seems a bit.
Speak for yourself.
What's your problem?
Yeah.
Well, I don't like the way they cheat us out of the Ashes. You know what I mean? If I'll be honest.
When you're having to resort to different sports, I think the point's been made. Aries says, I don't get why Mikel is getting so much stick for changing keepers. If Raya is better, he's better. Simple as. Do you think it's because Rambo's English that they're making a fuss?
Listen, Ramsdale was very, very popular with the Arsenal fans. You know what I mean? And when you make a decision against one of the popular players, it's always going to cause that, But at the end of it, I go back, look, Charlie Nicholas was a massive favourite at Arsenal, and George Graham got rid of him, and a lot of fans
but he deserved to be getting rid of
but
at that point because he just wasn't performing. And he was the kind of player that never fitted the George Graham mould.
In his way, but George Graham got the results, and eventually you forgot about that situation, and it happens all the time, so... Listen,
and he waited to his second season as well.
Yeah.
He let him play the first season, and then he got rid of him after 3 games of the second one.
I've got a starting 11 from someone who's typically right. It's not from Arsenal. Do you want to hear it?
It's up to you. You're the boss.
This is an unofficial starting 11 from someone that isn't Arsenal.
Yeah, but who
gets it
weekly gets it right.
Fire it on.
Raya in goal. Ben White, Saliba, Gabriel Zinchenko. Erdegaard, Declan Rice, Fabio Vieira, Bukayo Saka, Gabriel Jesus, Eddie Nketiah.
So Trossard is injured,
and that would be exactly what I'd go with. If it took to me.
Now I worry.
Yeah, I'm worried.
Why would you worry?
Because I think Jesus down the middle causes them all sorts of problems.
Yeah, but I think Eddie's pace in behind in that as well for a team that not going to sit super deep will pose some problems
we played
as well.
one game this season when I've been saying how well we played. That was on Wednesday. That was with Jesus up front. That's my problem.
No, but I'm not worried. No, that doesn't worry me at all. I think Eddie, that's another player that's, why do you say, a lot of times, I'll hear you say Ramsdale's never let us down, but now you're worried with Eddie. Eddie ain't let us down.
Yeah.
Eddie down the middle will do a job.
He gets he's playing and Ramsdale's not.
Jesus can play on that left-hand side. We've seen him.
Ramsdale has made mistakes.
Jesus can play anywhere across the front three.
Yeah, but I like him playing down the middle.
So do I.
Yeah.
But if Trossard's out, right, you've got to cover that position.
Yeah, well, Nelson can play there.
No, I still think Reece Nelson is better off coming off the bench, impact player. That's my opinion, rather than a full night.
We're going into this game without Partey, Timber, Martinelli or Trossard, it looks like. So the injuries are
more injuries mounting up, isn't it?
Yep, Sivan says, we can't let emotions drive our team. Love Ramsdale, but we need to trust our manager. If Raya is the better option for him, then so be it. It's also my birthday. It'd be great to get a wish from you all. Happy birthday, Sivan.
Happy birthday.
Hope Arsenal get a big, big win for you. Tapping Toes was saying it's his mum's birthday today as well, and apparently she's an Arsenal fan.
Any on a cruise or something?
Happy birthday.
Macram says, I worry for Ramsdale. If he starts, Tottenham have a much higher chance to nick a goal than PSV. And Everton, sorry, the comments keep moving up. Due to recency effect, the media will critique Ramsdale for not having a clean sheet.
Got the team?
Yeah. Is it the one we said?
Official team is Raya in goal, White, Saliba, Gabriel Zinchenko, Declan Rice, Fabio Vieira, Martin Odegaard. Up front, what did the other guy say?
Eddie Jesus Saka.
Right. Up front, Saka, Jesus, Eddie Nketiah.
So he's right. Got it spot on.
And on the bench is Ramsdale, Cedric, Tomiyasu, Jakob Kivior, Jorginho, El Neni, Smith Rowe, Reece Nelson, and Kai Havertz.
It's not terrible,
it's not terrible, but it just proves that Trossard must be injured.
Yeah, of course.
Trossard's not in the squad at all. So
have we got any idea
he's got soft tissue injury. So
what does that mean?
Craig,
a bit of a muscle injury anyway. So I think that's the wise thing to do, not to play. You want the Spurs lineup?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Vicario in goal, Van der Ven, Porro, Christian Romero, Idoji, Maddison, Son, Kulusevski, Bissouma, Papa Sarr, and Brennan Johnson starts.
Brennan Johnson starts?
Starts. It's a very attacking
no
team.
Richarlison.
No Richarlison starting. It's a very
Brennan
attacking
Johnson
team.
should have scored against us in the opening day of the season.
Yep.
So
and then their bench is Forster, Eric Dyer, Ben Davis, Emerson Royale, Oliver Skip, Højbjerg, Richarlison, Veltz, and Mana Solomon.
Let's just give a shout out to Pippa and Expressions on Sky Sports right now, really hyping up the North London derby. Good on them. Look at Expressions, you can only imagine what he said. Did you hear the things he said about Troops in their preview? Some of the slander names are unbelievable. All right, that's the 11.
And then said he'd take a draw.
Whose confidence is up? Hands up.
My confidence is still up. You know what I mean?
Confidence has gone down.
I would have loved to have that Trossard.
Mine's
Whose
gone
confidence
down.
is where it was? I haven't changed.
No. We're not saying
We've lost Trossard. You can't have higher confidence.
Hopefully Eddie will play on the left, which he has done in the past. Hopefully.
No, I play Eddie down the middle. I wouldn't play Eddie on the left. I look at Gabriel Jesus as a guy who can play
anywhere. It's a big blow, you know what I mean? Like Trossard's been scoring goals. Not only that, we've lost Martinelli.
It's a third choice now, because we've lost Martinelli, who would have been first choice, and now we've lost Trossard, which has been second choice. So we're down to our third choice. But it's great that we've got such a depth of squad.
I've got one take on it though, right?
Go on.
There's one. I love Trossard. There's one thing about him though. He's not slow. He's definitely not slow. But he's not
going to get beyond the.
Yeah, he's not got that pace that Saka and Jesus have. The one thing is, if Tottenham do come and play, do have the high line, I believe we're better in transition and we'll hurt them a little bit more with. I'm not saying necessarily Nketiah, but with pace going the other way. And that's where I find it interesting. Now the same can be said about them. They've gone for Brennan Johnson over Richarlison. Was Richarlison on the bench? I can't remember.
Richarlison's on the bench.
So they've actually gone for a similar
front
thing. Kulusevski, Son, Brennan Johnson.
Yeah.
So they've gone for a similar thing, and they've gone with their pace and directness. But this could be a real punch-for-punch game, everyone. And Trossard, maybe when Tottenham get into like a low block and they retreat to their goal, you want a Trossard for his inventiveness. But I think Eddie as well, if the chance falls to anyone. He's
Trossard, I wanted Trossard to start, but if the guy's injured, he's injured, right? So the best thing about it is that we've got cover and good cover, right? And so, it's a shame because the last couple of games have been clinical, but don't want to risk him and then he gets, that's the beauty that at the moment we've got a decent squad. So
I would have gone for looking at that team now, I would have gone for Smith Rowe in there.
Fair enough. Craig says
as a first start.
Over who?
I'm playing on the left-hand side.
Fair enough. It's quite far from what you've been doing well. I'd have been tempted for Nelson. The other option is you go with Havertz up top and Jesus on the left.
You could have. That was the other thing I was thinking they could do is go.
So they're putting Eddie on the left. That's what I would do. If Eddie has played on the left before. So I wouldn't be. And they can interchange a little bit.
They'll interchange a lot as well. So.
Yep.
He hasn't got as much coming off the bench. I suppose he's got Nelson that could change game. If we're losing, who would you bring on?
Smith-Rowe.
Yeah, you got Smith Rowe.
You could bring on Havertz up front to go long. You could bring on Nelson for his pace.
Yeah, almost weakens the bench, doesn't it?
Yeah,
Because
we're losing. We've got 3 players that would be arguably in that team,
or at least in the squad
2
that you could then bring off. Imagine having Trossard start and Martinelli comes off the bench with half an hour to go.
That Tottenham midfield of Saar, Basuma and Maddison, they've got energy. You know, the
They're
one thing about
players.
Vieira, Ødegaard, Rice, we know Rice can dominate midfield on his own. He did it away at Goodison against Onana, against Gay, against Doucouré. But now the big thing is, can he do that? But can Arsenal's retain possession get the best out of Vieira and Ødegaard? Because a big part as to why Vieira was so effective at Everton at Goodison is because we had the ball the whole time. You know, we had the ball and it was about show us what you can do on it. If there's a lot of transition, a lot of back and forth, Vieira could get a little lost in this game. So I wouldn't even be surprised if we do get overrun, see Jorginho come on and give Rice a little bit more of a box-to-box role. So
you look at their defence. You look at their defence though. That defence is something that can be got at, right? Because Pedro Porro loves to bomb forward, right? So there's lots of spaces that can be exposed in behind. They're playing that sort of double pivot to try and cover that off. But I think there's going to be spaces opening up in this game for Arsenal. And the one thing we know that we're not going to face today is like a low block, like what we've been facing against United and Forest and that. I'm looking forward to this game. This is going to be a good game, man.
I think for the neutral, it's a great game, I have to say. Let's go through the final super chats. Craig says it's not arrogance to be the best, you have to be ruthless. Pep changed 3 or 4 goalkeepers before he found the best one for him. Nicholas says, I've never seen a keeper make contact with the ball as many times as Ramsdale when conceding. That's my problem. He gets there, but weak hands. Airy, I think I pronounced that right, says even our second team is stronger than their first. Trossard out is unfortunate, but it is what it is. We've got this, lads. Come on, you Gunners. All right, we're all nervous. The thoughts are in. The poll votes are in. The 11s are in. Let's get everyone's predictions. Lee, would you go with for Arsenal?
3-0. I'm changing that.
2?
1-0.
I went 2-1. What are you going with?
I went with 3-1. I'm sticking with my 3-1.
I'm nervous, but I can't predict Arsenal are going to lose, and I can't even bring myself to say they're going to draw, so I'll go 1-0 to Arsenal.
Vedi says, we always do better when we have some mild worry going into the North London derby. We'll miss Trossard, but I trust our bench. Also, I like Eddie and Jesus' link up front. That's true. When they have played on a few occasions, they've linked up well, but we just haven't seen much of it because he tends to go for one or the other. Gary Neville now talking to Mikel Arteta, Alan Smith there as well on the Sky coverage. All right, everyone. The teams are in. Raya in goal, White, Saliba, Gabriel and Zinchenko, the same back four and goalkeeper we saw in midweek. Vieira comes in for Havertz with Rice and Ødegaard there as well. Saka and Jesus keep their place after the midweek win in the Champions League, and Nketiah comes in for the injured Trossard. Martinelli not back as well. That means Havertz, Nelson, Smith Rowe, the attacking options on the bench. El Neni, Jorginho, Kivior, Tomiyasu, Cedric and Ramsdale on the bench as well. The score predictions are coming in, a few 5-1s, matching what Turkey said. Couple 3-0s, couple 3-1s, 3-2s, but lots of confident Arsenal fans. We hope you're all right. As always, we are keeping you covered with every single kick, every single big moment here on the watch along. That kicks off for us 30 minutes before kickoff, so make sure you join us in about 20 minutes. You're all off to the game. Fan cams will be coming after, and if you download the AFTV Plus app, it's your chance to come and join us. We want to talk to you all after the game. If things go wrong, we want to know why. We want to have that therapy session to talk it all out, but if things go right, like it so often does at the Emirates, we want to just bask in the glory and enjoy it. So download the app, be ready to join us straight after full time. See you in a bit. Watch along in 20 minutes. Come on, Arsenal.
Come on.